Mike Tyson is one of the few ring warriors who doesn't need to get his hands dirty to win a battle. However, Mike's behavioral record has occasionally been tainted by reckless decisions made in moments when adrenaline clouds reason. Welcome! In today's video, we'll relive the controversial fight between Mike Tyson and Francois Botha, the night when a couple of bones were seconds away from breaking. It was 1999, and it seemed Tyson was ready to leave the scandals of the old millennium behind for this fight. Tyson had recently fought a second controversial match against Evander Holyfield, and you may wonder how this jump in time was possible. You see, starting in June of 1997, Mike was suspended for a whole year and was out for a year and a half before facing Botha. For this fight, Tyson was trained by Tommy Brooks. Brooks was known and respected for his roster of fighters, which included none other than Evander Holyfield, aside from being the 1975 national middleweight champion of the Amateur Athletic Union, so greatness was expected from his part. And on January 16, 1999, in the ring at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, Mike had to prove he was up to the task. The fight, it was scheduled for 10 rounds. Botha entered as the number 2 heavyweight contender by the International Boxing Federation. The White Buffalo held an impressive record of 39 wins, 24 of them knockouts, with only 1 loss. Undoubtedly a record worthy of facing a fighter like Mike, who, at the time of the fight, already held 45 wins, 39 by knockout, and only 3 losses. Would the White Buffalo be fiercer than Iron Mike, condemning him to a 4th setback in his career? That was the question that hung in the air when the fight was announced. The judges were Dalby Shirley, Bill Graham, and Dave Moretti. These personalities had the tough task of declaring a winner based on their analyses and perspectives if neither fighter's power could claim victory before the end of the scheduled rounds. Luckily, Iron Mike's beastly fury was at its peak after being caged for a year and a half. With the legendary Richard Steele as the third man in the ring, this epic fight took place. Round 1. Botha's right broke the ice, to which Tyson quickly responded with his left. The White Buffalo continued testing Mike's defense with powerful combinations to the body that seemed to fail to break through.
He hadn't started as fast as everybody, quietly waiting for his opening. There's 1, 2.
Eventually, Tyson's powerful left began to cause damage. Less than a minute into the fight, the clash of power between the fighters led to controversial clinches.
Smith dancing. And I'm starting.
Blood on the head of Mike Tyson. Botha have the ability to combat this. Botha certainly doesn't look afraid. He's standing right in there.
Botha continued attacking Mike's body and head, occasionally landing solid punches. Although towards the end, the round didn't look good for Tyson. Things turned darker when, in a clinch break, he seemed to attempt to break Botha's arm.
Everything Mike does.
Scheduled for 10. Botha off to avoiding tremendous.
The White Buffalo inevitably cried out in pain, and Steele acted quickly before things escalated. Just before the bell, Tyson's face had to absorb a powerful right due to his actions. Even after the round ended, Steele seemed unable to break the clinch. Therefore, ring security had to step in and break the scene. Mike was taken to his corner by his team, while Botha was quickly attended by his own. After the intense moment, it seemed the White Buffalo had been quickly weakened. Round 2. Both fighters came out for the second round, and Mike's left quickly pushed Botha against the ropes. The intensity of Mike's offense had doubled, and it seemed like a clean fight until, less than 20 seconds into the round, another controversial clinch took place. Once again, Tyson seemed to attempt to twist Botha's arm, this time his left. Steele, outraged, handled the situation better. After the break, Mike went for another controversial clinch, leaving Steele no choice but to dock a point on the judges' cards. Both fighters continued the round with brief exchanges, which ended in clinches. With Mike attacking the body and head, the White Buffalo seemed unsure how to contain the offense.
Because there's fire. It might for Tyson, you gotta get.
Toward the end of the round, Botha was really trying to keep a safe distance, while Tyson's eyes blazed. After the bell, once again, chaos reigned in the ring. Clinched, a brief struggle required Steele's intervention. Fortunately, both fighters showed more willingness to return to their corners.
And again, a left hook to the jaw by Tyson.
Both of them might do to him, and the layoff has hurt his.
This is an alley fight, a street fight.
This is the kind that took the streets.
However, in slow-motion replay, it was clear Tyson was going for Botha's head, using his elbow. Round 3. At the start of the third round, Mike jumped on Botha, forcing him to retreat to the ropes. The White Buffalo, who was now keeping a greater distance, counterattacked occasionally. However, the clinches quickly reappeared. After a few dozen seconds into the clash, it was clear Botha was exhausted. In contrast, it seemed Iron Mike's battery was still fully charged. Dirty or clean, depending on perspective, it was clear Tyson was the clear aggressor in the fight.
Under a minute remaining.
Mike Tyson.
Tyson looks fatigued already, exhausted.
Let him go, Mike. Let him go.
Both fighters.
What takes toll is the emotion of getting into a fight rather than a boxing match. You can box all night long. When you get a...
Let him go, Mike. Let him go.
Remaining. Round 3.
After the bell, the fighters finally returned to their corners without overstepping boundaries. Round 4. The round had barely begun when Botha kept his distance while Tyson followed closely, threatening to go on the offensive. It seemed the White Buffalo was being lured, and to keep his opponent from getting close, he extended his left arm. Inevitably, his body had to absorb some of Mike's powerful combinations.
Crowd reacts
and loves it. Following Brooks's instructions.
Mike is not jabbing 30. That's the key to this fight.
The key to the fight is you better listen.
Botha tried to counterattack, but he was too exhausted to perform well. It was then that Tyson's left hooks began to have more impact.
And
I'll tell you what, I don't like fighters that it's a non-combative posture.
If it's long, it will be. A guy is just walking around, kind of looking at him, making fun.
Lean long.
Round 5. Once again, Tyson pushed Botha against the ropes at the start of the 5th round. The White Buffalo's attacks seemed to shine for an instant, but it was only the last breath of an animal already near its end. Despite absorbing blows to his head, Mike didn't seem to lose focus. When Tyson began to attack seriously, it was Botha who opted to clinch. Between keeping his distance and clinching Tyson, the White Buffalo seemed to be buying time to survive another round. His plan seemed to be working. Despite being severely battered by Mike, only 15 seconds remained, and he could return to his corner to recover. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a bloody right hook, straight to the face, extinguished any spark of Botha's victory. The White Buffalo had been neutralized, like an animal put to sleep. Botha fell dramatically to the mat, irreversibly.
Mark of a shot fighter when you can't get off.
After the scene unfolded, there was only one thought in the air. It only took one punch, and he might not get up. Steele began the safety count as Botha's pride forced him to make inhuman efforts to get up. He stood up at the count of 9, but he had no stability. Even before Steele waved his arms, signaling the end of the fight, the White Buffalo began to stumble backward as if he had turned into a crab. The animal was dying, and fortunately, he was caught by the ropes before needing Steele's or Iron Mike's assistance. The author of this reaction. After attention shifted from the dying White Buffalo, everyone at the MGM Grand could realize what this truly meant. It only took one right hand. The legend Iron Mike was back. At the doorstep of a new millennium, Mike Tyson seemed to have much more to offer the sport. Now, at 32, the youngest heavyweight champion in the world wasn't ready to retire yet. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, there's no better way to support my content than by leaving a like on the video. Do you think Mike's victory was cleanly executed? Do you believe Botha's performance would have been different without the irregular events during the clinches? I'd love to read your opinion in the comments. See you there.